Halloween Haunter here. Welcome back to yet another Halloween video. And in this video, we're going to be unboxing the Spirit Halloween 2022 Lil Skelly bones. So, I actually got this guy at the Spirit Halloween flagship store, and I ended up bringing him home on the airplane. And so he's finally here. This is actually one of the few props I wanted to get this year. So I'm really excited that I was able to go ahead and finally get him at flagship. So, as you can probably see here, I also have the original Lil Skelly bones right here, and that's because I want to do a little comparison, maybe in the future, so you guys will kind of see them side by side when this guy is fully set up. I have not peeked in the box at all or seen any setup videos as of now, but I have heard this guy's setup is really notorious and bad, so I really hope this guy's setup is not as bad as people are saying. I heard it's like a Nightcrawler 2.0, so I hope it's a good setup. If not, we'll just go with it. So, here is the front of the box. So Lil Skelly, here's the top. It's got a Spencer sticker, and then it has my name, since I was putting it on hold. And then here is the side of the box, Lil Skelly bones. And then here is the other side. And then here is the back, who he cost $169.99, and his anim number is N000130. This guy is made by Crazy Crate as well, not YJ if you're wondering. So let's go ahead and unbox this prop. Alright, so it's one of those slide out boxes. Alright, got a lot of parts here. So, we first have is a shoulder bracket, plastic piece. We then have two of his arms, hands. Then we have his clothing right here. His box is super small, by the way. It's so small, it's really good for storage. And then we have the instructions. We have, this is supposed to be like his shoulders again. Then we have foam padding right here. Then we have little feet too. Oh, they actually have molds. That's cool. Let's see. The adapter right here. I'll kind of take that out and show you real quick. Here is the adapter. Then we have, let's see, pull it out. We gotta unpack this. We now have is the mechanism. It's actually very similar to Demonic Dahlia and Jack Straw with the chain. Not a very fun process. Not surprised that this guy's head does lamp up and down, so that was expected. But yeah, it's kind of got like a Halo Potter mech, it kind of looks like. Or a Henry Hustle mech, I can't really tell. It kind of looks similar to that. There it is. Then we have is, let's see, I'm gonna pull it out. We have the Lil Skelly bones neck. It's upside down, but here it is. Let's see. Wow. Okay, there's the mechanism. We have some zip ties, really crazy great. I hate zip ties. His control box. Actually, the high quality speaker, which is good. I want to hear that in high quality, of course. Then we have, it's got some zip ties on it. Pull that out. We have his base. A pretty good sturdy metal base. The loading seems pretty good too, so actually pretty surprised for Crazy Creates. Really nice metal base. And then, last but not least, we have his head, which honestly looks amazing. It's a lot more of a darker shade than the original, as you can probably tell right here. But the head sculpt looks really accurate to the original, even like the same size and such. It's so cool. that Crazy Crate was able to take that mold. I'm betting they got like a mold sample of the original head and was able to just reprint that, but honestly looks really awesome. His eyes are a bit different too. They look more bloodshot here than that one. So, awesome. I'm a bit worried about the setup, but let's go ahead and start the setup for Lil Skelly Bones.
Pray for the dead, and the dead will pray for you. You can pray for the dead, but the dead will prey on you.
Alright, so here is my overview on the Spirit Halloween 2022 Lil Skelly Bones. I do want to mention real quick that I actually did film a full-length instructional setup on this guy, but the reason why the setup part of this video is actually just sped up and no talking is just because I actually did slightly mess up on this guy a little bit. One thing was I actually put the bracket on backwards, and at the beginning of the video, I actually did put on the base backwards. So unfortunately, I had to redo parts of the setup, which I didn't really want to do, but I had to go ahead and redo it. A lot of people were saying this is like the Nightcrawler 2.0 setup, and it definitely is hard, but I wouldn't say it's as hard as him. Nightcrawler is just a whole other story with that setup. I do think this guy is pretty tedious. If you mess up, you have to restart, which if you restart, you kind of get the hang of it, but still kind of an annoying setup. This guy shouldn't be as hard as it actually is, but it kind of turned out to be that way. But overall, though I had to redo it a second time, it's not the worst setup ever. If you guys really read the instructions carefully, like you actually have to read like each step, and I'm sure you'll get a better hand at it than I did, because I definitely messed up twice, and I shouldn't have done that for these setups. So for the next few unboxings, I definitely want to do more voiceovers and talking about how the instructional setup is, but since I was messing up so much, I just didn't want to do it for this one. But hopefully for the next one, it'll definitely change. As you can see, I have this new Lil Skelly next to the original Lil Skelly, and honestly, it is really cool how Crazy Creates, the company that makes the new one, was able to capture the look of the older one, which is made by YJ. There's definitely still a lot of design differences. The new Lil Skelly head actually has a gray tone to it, while the original one has like more like a yellowish tone to it. So I guess it is kind of interesting to see how much they've changed the coloring in this guy. His eyes are actually just like a bloodshot pupil YJ eye. I think it's interesting how Crazy Create had to remake these bloodshot YJ eyes. As you can see, they're just like the head. They're actually a grayish color with red bloodshot veins. And honestly, I do really like this new one overall. It's really awesome. I think it definitely gets too much hate. A lot of people are saying this is Johnny Punk 2.0 because the audio is super annoying. And yes, I know the audio is a bit annoying because it doesn't sound like how the original Skelly Bones did, which was much more creepier and eerie. But this one sounds just more like annoying a little bit. Personally, I actually don't mind the audio. I don't think it's that annoying. I can definitely see why people would be annoyed of this audio, but personally, I don't think it's that bad. Honestly, it doesn't sound that annoying. I think overall, it's a pretty good version of Lil Skelly that we haven't seen before, because this is supposed to be a Lil Skelly off the swing, which I think is a cool idea. And I'm actually glad they gave him new audio, because I don't think it would have made much sense with the original audio on this one, just because he's got jump scares in him. So it'd be kind of weird with the original audio having jump scares in here. But they do actually have an original phrase in here, just slightly rewritten to fit the newer one. And honestly, it just is super amazing how we got this new Lil Skelly. Some minor complaints is that, yeah, there's like this bag at the bottom for the module. Kind of looks like he pooped himself. You can definitely see it looks really weird from the back. Of course, from the front, it's not really that bad, but from the back, yeah, it looks like he pooped himself. It's just a bag that covered the module and the mech, which I can understand. But if they had this mech black, then I don't think it would have been that bad, to be honest. It just is kind of weird. Another thing is that he's Crazy Create, so he uses a lot of zip ties, and he's got a couple screws, which is a little bit annoying. The screws aren't that bad, but the zip ties, yes, they're annoying. A lot of recent Crazy Create props have used these pulley strings that actually work better for the new props. So I don't see why they could have done it for this guy. I just think they wanted to make this guy as cheap as possible, so zip ties were the easiest thing to go. But especially for the price, he should have had those pulley strings. I don't know what they're called. They really do help to just reuse a lot on these characters. The reason one's like punctured Pete's, but they don't really have it for this guy, which I think they should have just done the pulley strings instead of the zip ties. It's just super annoying. But overall, regardless, this guy actually doesn't seem that bad to me. I mean, his quality might be a bit concerning because he pops up really fast. I've noticed that this Lil Skelly, when you send him up, he'll pop up, but the head sometimes will only go like halfway down, like it'll go down a little bit. The way to fix this is I actually just went ahead and took a chain off, and now mine goes fully down and fully up. I just wanted to slightly modify it so it's just perfect with the animation. You don't really have to do that if you want to. It's still pretty fun without it, but I want to make it as perfect as possible. This guy overall is just a really amazing prop. I think it's honestly one of the best props of this year. I love Lil Skelly, and I think it's such a cool idea that they made him a jump scare and also just a prop that's more easier to use in a haunt and a yard. I used him last year in my haunt, the original. I want to use the new one eventually in my haunted houses because this guy is just overall really good to look at. Again, that textural detail on the face just looks amazing. They captured a Lil Skelly really well, but have a grayish tone to it, which looks really nice. His box is really small too, so if you want to store it, it's pretty easy to store. When I was setting this guy up for a second time, this part of the mech does not come out of this connector, and it's so annoying because if you want to put this guy back in the box, you're basically gonna have to unscrew all this piece right here, which it shouldn't have been like that in the first place. but unfortunately I have to do that. It also has like a weird like hook right here. I don't know where that goes to. I guess to hold this back, but it doesn't really help that much. Another complaint I have with this guy is that his feet move around way too much. Like the be from right here, then when he jumps up, they move to right here. It's kind of annoying. Both his feet do that, mostly this foot. I think I'm gonna get some Velcro to go ahead and Velcro this down so his feet just stay in place. I kind of wish they had that in the first place, but overall, it's not the worst thing ever, just kind of annoying. My last complaint is his price. He is $170. Yes, unfortunately, a lot of spirit props this year are very much more expensive than they should be. This guy is probably about $30 to $40 overpriced. I think he should have been about $130 to $140 just because this guy is relatively good and scary, but he's not that big and he's fairly simple with his overall design. Despite my cons, I would say I recommend it. I mean, I'm kind of cautious to say that because the setup is kind of annoying and he is pretty expensive, but I really enjoy him a lot. I genuinely think this guy is one of the scariest jump scare props we've had in a long time from Spirits. This guy jumps super fast. Even I got startled a few times, and I really haven't gotten that startled since Mr. Dark. And before Mr. Dark, it was like spitting Scarecrow. So overall, this guy is genuinely really scary, and I think he's overall a really good prop. I do want to recommend him. Just if you don't like tedious setups, then don't get him, I guess. I don't really know what to say about recommending him. I kind of just want to recommend him just because he's Lil Skelly, he's good, and I like him overall, but he's got his cons. So yeah, that is really it for the unboxing and setup on the Lil Skelly Bones animatronic. I hope you guys overall enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I have much more unboxings and Spirit Halloween 2022 videos coming out. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.